Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to When We Heal, where we talk about everything healing and talk to the people who are going through it. My name is Precious. I am a life and wellness coach, as well as an herbalist and a community advisor and speaker. Today, we are going to have an amazing talk with two amazing women and get to know a little bit about their journey of finding themselves and going, getting to know who they are. Okay, I'm trying to bring y'all up now. I hope you all had an amazing week. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. Let me take this real quick. No, where's Shani at? How's your week been?
It's been long. I started a new position, so it's been long.
Okay, right, get that money though. Be as long as it want to be.
So we're gonna do separate. You have to request her on hers because we're gonna.
Yeah, I did. She in here. It just isn't bring her up, I guess. Let me see. I'll try again. Boom, there we go.
Gang, gang.
I'm excited. So let's
Oh
just
shit.
jump right in. Let's you guys introduce yourselves, tell people a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
You wanna go first, babe?
No, you you go ahead.
Me? Well, I'm Shawnee. I go by Gwee, so I'm gonna just put that out there in the beginning because the government be it be killing me. I be having to tell people. I be telling her everywhere because when I first met her, I told her my name was Gwee, and she was like, "What's your real name?" I'm like, "I can't give you that information yet." So
You gave
I
me your
don't.
face.
Yeah, it took a minute, but yeah, I gave it to you after a while.
And my name is Nikkee, and I'm nervous.
Ain't nothing to be nervous about, girl. Just a little live. So before we get into the actual questions about you guys, I'm gonna have to get all up in y'all business. But I wanted to start because this is Suicide Awareness Month, and I've been talking a lot about solutions and things like that. And I came across a statistic that really shocked me. So it says here that LGBTQ youth between 13 and 24 attempt suicide every 45 seconds in the US, which is crazy to me, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Every 45 seconds, that is crazy to me. And I wanted to know you guys' thoughts on it and like what kind of support should like people be giving, because I know especially in our community like there's a divide between what people think is like morally right, and then there's a divide against like what people have come to know as the LGBTQ community, and then like what's happening now where people are basically essentially claiming whomever they are. And so I want to know, like, what do y'all think some kinds of supports that the youth may need?
So I just recently had this conversation with one of my coworkers where her daughter tried to commit suicide. Not only did she lose like a friend, but she's also dealing with herself and dealing with finding her identity and how she doesn't know what gender she likes. So it's just making sure that you have the support from your family. Those are really like your biggest critics. Um, and just making sure you have love surrounding you from, you know, communicating with your trying to talk to your parents. It doesn't always work out the best way, but as long as you have that outlet, I feel like a lot of things can be prevented from happening.
Mhm. That's good. And what kind, so for the youth that feel like they don't have that kind of support, they don't know what to turn, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would reach out and try to find like maybe like a lot of people know this, trying to find like a social media outlet where you can vent to someone online, or even reaching out to like one of the free therapy groups that you see like scrolling on TV. You know, somebody out there is going to be willing to listen, even if it's a stranger.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that like the same thing. Probably find like maybe a rec center or like that's what I did. Like I tried to find like rec centers or I mean I had friends that were very uh supportive. So that's how I got through my situation was just friends and some family, but you know everybody has their own beliefs and morals and what's right and what's wrong. So sometimes it just take people a minute to adjust and it took my family, well, some of my family a minute to adjust, but now it is what it is. Everything's cordial, comfortable, living life.
Right. I think that's beautiful. And speaking of, your experience, can you tell us a little bit about like your experience coming out?
Yeah, mine was, so let me just say this. If I didn't have the courage to come out on my own, my mom kind of found, like I came out to my peers on my own. That was easy. But with my family and my parents, I think that if she would have never found out, I'd probably still be you know, quiet, and I didn't have the courage to come out. So the way my mom found out is I left my phone at home. You know how metros sound when they dying back in the day, it keep making that beeping noise. It
Mm-hmm.
kept beeping, and she called herself open it to turn it off, and she seen like the little screensaver of me kissing a girl on there. So that's how that's my coming out story. It's not really me coming out; it's just me kind of getting caught. But yeah, I didn't have the courage to tell my mom because I already knew like what it was and what it was gonna be like.
And then for me, my grandma raised me. And so it was a little easier because my grandma had already told me in the past that she dated women. So I had it a little easier just like telling her like I like this girl, and she gave me a little advice, but I never really was judged. 'Cause she accepted it because she had went through it prior in life.
Wow, that's crazy. So you guys ever talk about like your different experiences and like does that affect like how you guys go about and see your relationship?
No, I mean in a good way, yeah. Like it gives us like open space to be vulnerable with each other and talk about like trauma and it's because it was hard for me, but it was easy for her. So I mean we wasn't like comparing experiences, but it was good to like hear a positive story about coming out versus as I mean it wouldn't have been as bad, but I mean it's nice to hear people have like positive coming out stories, whereas for me it wasn't like super positive. So
And then for me, just hearing about like all the stuff that she's gone through in the past, it just like opens up a soft spot and makes you want to like hug that person tighter, because of their trauma.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. Mhm. I guess this question would be for you, Shani. Like, how do you navigate being like a black masculine in corporate America? Like, do you notice any microaggressions or like, do you think like people feel like because you are like they can visibly see like you're a masculine that they treat you differently?
yeah, I think a lot of people that don't understand uh make assumptions. Like, uh, yeah, I've got asked dumb questions at work, and I think it's all based on the person's confidence. Like, I feel like my confidence is at like a medium level to where like the first time I meet somebody, it's a little awkward for me. But like once I, get my foot in the door and everybody like know my face and know my pronouns and all that type of stuff, then I'm okay after that. I mean, you still got people that, you know, say stuff or, may look funny. Like I used to work at Uber. I'm in IT. So at Uber, I worked at a service desk where people walk up, if you got issues with your laptop, your phone, it connecting to Wi-Fi, you need access to a certain app, whatever you need, you go to service desk, you go to IT for it. So I mean, it's been times where it clearly says service desk right behind me, but people walk up and see me and be like, "Oh, is this service desk?" Like, duh. But I think it's just because of my appearance that they be like, "Oh, let me make sure." They probably like look for walking up to see maybe somebody else,
Yeah.
And then I have locks too. So I also have, people, ladies walk up and be like, "Oh, I love your braids. Do you got to take them out, redo them all the time?" Like questions like that. And it's like, I mean, I learned how to just brush it off. But I think, I think it can be tough for somebody that's very sensitive.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I know like corporate America could be a lot to deal with, period, and just like
Yeah.
trying to navigate through, um, like the space of like, is this towards me or is this how they feel or um, is it because I'm black? Like, is it because I'm
Yeah,
gay? Like,
exactly. I got like not only am I black, I'm gay and I'm masculine. So it's like three strikes right there. So, but I just got to a new company and like nowadays it's like more open and it's more relaxed. Like you get to share your profile. I mean your pronouns and stuff on your profile. So before you even start, like people get to read like you know stuff about you. You get to put stuff about you. So I try to get pretty good at like putting out there what I want people to know. So it's like no misunderstanding like in person. But yeah, it's a lot more relaxed now, and especially in San Francisco.
yeah. And how do you guys feel about pronouns? Like, what are your gender pronouns? Um, how's it been like adjusting to like utilizing pronouns and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the for me personally, like the biggest question is, does she want to go by she, he? So I don't think every masculine woman wants to be called he. I think they just make that assumption off of how we dress. But yeah, I go by she pronouns. I don't think anything else. I don't got no disrespect to anybody that do feel like that. I just don't feel like that.
I feel like it's opened like a door open for somebody to like be themselves, and then somebody not to like label you. Like nowadays they make it like to where HR puts it out there like you have to go by this pronoun, so it's like respecting you as a person when it comes to being employed with a company. So
Yeah, I actually love that they do gender pronouns. I really like in the early like 2010, 2013, it started being used in like the LGBTQ community, and that's who I be around a lot. I remember it even being an adjustment in that community because it definitely, especially since, you know, Black culture is different than other cultures. We use pronouns and stuff like that
I am
extremely
so
different.
glad you said that word because I was talking to somebody. I don't want to say his name because he be like, I don't want to get canceled. Well, he don't care about getting canceled, but he hates that people will cancel him. But
Yeah.
he was telling me yesterday like race is not culture, but I'm like it's related. You know, like you can't just rule out the fact that there's a black culture. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have a culture. And I mean, depending on how you want to see it, like, technically he's right because there's only one race, but like when it comes down to it, black people and black culture is a thing, quote unquote black, but like it's a thing because we had to create our own everything, right? And we had to be like our own support systems and our own backbones. We have our own vernacular. We know each other, and there is a difference between how we in our community talk and between how other in the society talk, and we see it now because they are appropriating it now, but like there's a difference. And it's even like in the LGBTQ community, I know that like some people are different when it comes to their pronouns or like what they label themselves or how they utilize language.
yeah,
And then in other communities, it's like you can't say that, or you get canceled for saying that. But people are still using the language in our culture because we don't see it as that.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, so I really want to hear you guys' take on that because I think it's so easy to like cancel somebody for not utilizing proper pronouns, but like this is just now getting to be like practiced out loud in the last couple of years. Like it's been a thing in one community, but it hasn't been a thing for everybody's community. And I see it, and even like I have to tell my daughter all the time because she looks at people and just automatically be like, yeah, that's not what you're. Why are they doing that? You know, and I'll be like, that's just what they do. And she'd be like, why? And I'm like, girl, you ask too many questions. I don't know their life, and I don't feel like asking them. You know, like I feel like the more the conversation comes up, like the easier it may get, but it's getting complicated. So I think it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to be able to like at least ask to start the question. Start the conversation.
I'm interested to know. I gotta ask you a question to
Mm-hmm.
piggyback off of that. How do you feel like that type of stuff should be like shown and taught to kids, or like is there like an age limit where you feel like it's appropriate, or do you feel like it's like like it could be inappropriate to a certain age group, like as far as pronouns and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that?
Lord, now you're trying to get me canceled. So you know I'm open on here. Yeah, I definitely think that kids should know about it because it's a real thing. Like, although it's new to us, how open everything is, it's a thing. Like, people are in the LGBTQ community, people have their pronouns, whatever. Where I stand with with like not just pronouns, but like gender and things like that, I don't really believe in it. So I also don't believe in like how many are coming up. I think if we want to be all inclusive, that we should just go by our names. And that is just like no he, she, him, her at all either. Like I'm not just like other people's pronouns don't matter either. I'm just saying the whole thing because then it gets to the point where you're getting canceled or like talked down upon for calling somebody something and that you didn't even understand, or they bring sexuality into it and all these things where I just wanted to know your name. Like I just wanted to, what is your name then? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we could just go by that,
Right.
I think that it'll make it a lot easier for people to communicate without any confusion.
Yeah. I agree, semi. I think I think that kids are I feel like kids pick up on things. So if you put a lot in their face, it might cause, like some type of, yeah, yeah. So I think it should be like a age limit on that type of stuff. But that's just me.
Yeah, and that's why I said that if we going all out and having 50,000 new ones pop up, we just might as well go by our name because I mean that's who you are, and technically,
Yeah.
like I said, gender is a social construct, and we can go on and on about that. You might as well go by your name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, unless I want to do something with you.
Then that's when you gotta know
Exactly, like you're not your pronouns, but like going
what you
into
got.
sexual orientation and stuff like that. Like if you got like what you got, then then we have to have a deeper conversation. But I don't think all that has to be divulged and so out there, even down to like, is there so much sexuality on TV? Like speaking about kids, like they're kissing in
Cartoons.
the cartoons, and I'm not even talking about gay, just everybody kissing. Like I was just like, why everybody kissing? Like I don't
Yeah.
remember this happening when I was younger. Like it doesn't make any sense. I get it. We do need to see healthy representations of families and different families and love and all that stuff. But everything don't gotta be romantic. Everything don't have to be like my kids shouldn't be looking at things and thinking that she got to kiss this little boy because she's seen it on TV. You know what I'm saying? So like we were, our parents at least was trying to shelter us from that, but like now it's just like in everything. So
Yeah, you gotta let them watch old school cartoons.
my daughter's up on all the old stuff, but like yeah, if we going down that road of like children and stuff like that, I think there's a lot of things that should and should not be taught to our children.
I agree.
That's true.
Um, so I did want to know, speaking of interacting with people, I want to know about men. So they can be aggressive. And I want to know y'all experiences like interacting with men and how they respect or not your sexuality, um, your experiences being friends with them. Like, are they actually friends or do they try to be friends and try to convert you? Like, how's that
Mm.
experience?
She might have more interesting stories with that one.
I think personally for me, I don't really have a lot of male friends. A lot of the males that I have come across in the past, they have tend to like hit on me, and I just had to like draw the line, like, hey, like, I like women, and they'd be like, well, I like women too, and it just hits me with a line, like, I don't I don't like men. So let that be that. It gets a little awkward, but I just try to move on and break them down like not as nice as possible without offending somebody by being rejected.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get hit on, so I have a lot of male friends. I probably have like a handful of female friends, but uh, yeah, I be with niggas every day.
Yeah. And that's surprising. I mean, of course, I know you have a lot of male friends, but like, that's surprising because I know, like, even as a masculine presenting female, that a lot of women or, um, yes, women still get hit on by men. Because,
Yeah, it okay. I'm not gonna say it never happened. It's always like one person that wanna try to see if they could be the one to do something, but it's like once a year if it happens. Like it's very 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 rare, and I never had a friend uh do anything weird like that with me. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any good stories for you guys, but
that's a good thing. Um, So what was the biggest hurdle that you think that you had to overcome to become the person that you are right now?
I guess for me, I'll go first again. I just had to let go of my past. You know, like I think for a while I was lost in the sauce, and I had to just like draw the line and just, you know, not look back. And when I say my past, I don't just mean like relationships. I mean like, you know, like trauma, uh, old friendships, all of that. Like I just had to like at one point in my life just literally draw a line and be like, from this moment forward, I'm just only gonna focus on the present and future and just leave the past where it's at.
And I think for me is I set like an expectation for myself to try to please everybody and to hold like a certain standard for like being somebody that somebody else wants me to be and not really being like my genuine self. And I feel like that was like a really big hurdle because I was not only like trying to please other people, but I didn't know who I was. And it took a while. It took a while to like look within and really like bring out the real person. Like learn to say no to people, learn to just accept myself and not what somebody else wants you to be.
Ooh, let's talk about it because I think both of y'all hit on two of my favorite topics to talk about, which basically boils down to boundaries. Check out my ebook. But when it comes to boundaries, I think it is so important. Like Nikkee was saying, she had to set boundaries with people. But I think, which even more important, well, they're both important, but like it's setting a boundary with yourself. And I feel like Shani touched on that. Well, you both did, but like Shani touched on that because like when you are on a journey and you are evolving, it's just my favorite thing to do. You do go through a time where you're like figuring it out and everything seems chaotic and you don't know whether or not like the things that you think is for you and you know everything is just going which way and there comes a point where you're just like this is it. Like, in order for me to move forward, this is it. And it sounds like you both chose yourself and you chose your evolution um, because we all have a choice. And, you know, once you get to that point of actually having to choose, you can choose to repeat the cycle. And it seems like you both chose yourselves and to move forward, which also brings me to my next point and my next question is you guys finding each other. Like, what was that like? And how did you know that you guys wanted to be together?
I would
Uh,
say, well, we first met on Tinder, and I don't think that we were. Well, I just know personally for myself that I wasn't like looking for someone. I had just already gotten out of a relationship, and I was just looking to have fun and ball out a little bit. And it just it I was coming out of like out of a character where I've never really had like a whole face. And so I was looking to go through that phase. And it really didn't happen that way because I ended up meeting her and just off rip, the vibe was just there. We just very open with each other. And, it was a very relaxed situation with like not really a lot of pressure, but just to just be there for one another and have fun.
yeah, unfortunately, I made a Tinder. Fortunately, but unfortunately, I made a Tinder. Uh, was just learning how to work it, swiping, and then I came across her profile. I actually thought her name was Nikkee. I thought, you know how people just add extra letters. I was calling her Nike at first. I'm like, oh, bro, look at Nike. Take Nike out. I'm at work. And then, the conversation was good. She like put me through a little test in the beginning. Like, I got put through a little test in the beginning, but we made it through. We stuck it out. Because like her, I mean, I was a hoe for a while. I was going in and out of a relationship, and while my relationship was off, I was turning up. I was, going through them. But she met me at a time where I finally was like, I drew that line, but I kind of was like, I want to date. I want to, make sure I find the right thing to talk to, settle down and talk to. So, and she wasn't having it at all.
I'm not used to dating somebody who's dating somebody else. So, yeah, I'm very, like, territorial. So I had to set that boundary, like, listen, this is what it's going to be. Either you with it or you not. So.
Right. As you should. And that's crazy because, one, I want to know what it's like on the Tinder streets. I am not a social media dater, so I don't know what it's like in them Tinder streets.
I be feeling when I say it, like I be feeling like I was desperate, but I wasn't desperate. But it's like I never made a dating app before. Like everybody I've dated, I've met in person for the most part. It was just like out, or somebody I've seen before, and then we connected later on like Instagram or something like that. So for me to like be like, oh, I'm gonna make a Tinder, I was like damn, it's that bad for me, huh? But I made one, and I found my wife on there. So
Look, and that's beautiful because I have, boy, when I tell you, and I don't think that dating online means that you're desperate. Because,
yeah, that was just
right, there's a
me.
lot of people out here that's out here finding love. It's just I don't be liking to talk to people. My attention span is short. I'll start messaging you 1-2 times, and you better call me because you was not about to catch this attention.
But I jumped on it fast though. Like once I got her number, because I told her instantly once we matched on Tinder and I messaged her, I'm like, look, I don't really do this. Just give me your number and we could just talk like that. So that's what I did. I asked her for her number. I got her number. And I was, you got to try to keep it player a little bit. Like, I'm going to give it a couple of days. I'm going to call her in a couple of days. She called me the same night. And it's a FaceTime. So I seen the FaceTime. I'm like, nah, you just let her wait for a minute,
Yeah,
so,
you did ignore my phone call.
Yeah. But my plan was, I was like, I want to see her fresh in the morning. So I called her early in the morning, FaceTime. Like, yeah, let me see now. She answered it with a cover all over her head and all that. I'm like, nah, pull that down.
I was not prepared.
That is too funny. But what's crazy? So that story reminds me, I was just talking to one of my favorite couples. Their Instagram profile page, the Black Business Clique, y'all follow them. They're amazing. They do a lot of stuff for Black business owners. But I follow them. They have a couples live. What, can I see your belly? What?
like why?
But
Cash at me $100. I do.
Right. But they have a couples live and they talk about like their experience and meeting each other and stuff like that. And I was just on their live last week, and they were talking about like they lived in the same neighborhood. They worked like I think a block away from each other and never seen each other. They get on a dating app and they connected. And I've been talking about this also a lot lately, which is another one of my favorite things to talk about, energy. And I see like that is like a common thread with not only like we talk about it in manifesting, like you got to match your energy to get the things that you want, but like in relationships, like this is now a common thread I'm seeing is like matching your energy. You if you both were not in the same energetic field of releasing the old and looking for something new, and y'all both got on that app at the same time, and y'all both connected. Y'all see how this stuff works? Like, this stuff it's not fake, y'all. Like, truly understanding and knowing and going with your gut about like how you want to go about things. Like, you may not know exactly how you're going to get it, but like, this is something that I want. This is something, like, I'm tired of it. You get that inkling, you get that gut feeling. Like, just go with it, because things progress and they transform, and you start to see, if you actually look and do the self-reflection on the direction that you are headed or have been headed. And that's for either good or bad, because once you start doing self-reflection, you also see like the shit that you shouldn't have been doing, that you may not want to continue on doing, because it's not going to lead you to where you want to go. You both were at a point where you were done doing the things that you did, and we're on to a new point where y'all both was able to actually connect energetically and meet.
Right.
That is true. Because I don't think if we weren't on like this, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't think if we were on like that same page and we're on two different pages, I definitely don't think it would have worked out very well. Like, we were matching each other's energy from the start. So it definitely worked out for the best.
I feel like if we would have met any sooner, it wouldn't have been the right time. Like, I think the universe put us together at the right time, because
And I think at the beginning, and even now, like, we really paid attention to each other's love language. And I feel like that really, really helped.
I love that. So, Nikkee, what made you propose?
One thing I've always said is that I'm not ever gonna propose to somebody. I'm only gonna wait for them to propose to me. And so I just feel like it was personally like the right time in my life to ask the person that I love to marry me. And I don't look at our relationship as having like a gender role, because we are both women. And I know that she's a little more masculine than I am, but at the end of the day, like, if it's gonna make her happy and make me even happier, I just went for it. And we were already talking about marriage too, before I even decided to propose. But I just knew like it was like the right time, and I just had like felt it in my heart that I needed to do it.
it's crazy because we was planning it at the same time. Like, I'm talking to her sister and my niece, like, hey, I'm trying to propose to Nikkee. I'm trying to get this proposal together. Like, can y'all help me? Can y'all help me? Whole time they helping her plan hers. So I'm like, it was just, it was crazy how it happened, because I definitely didn't expect it. She threw me off because she was like, I'll never propose to nobody. I should have known, like, she was saying it so much, and she was, like, so when it happened, it was kind of like,
Yeah, it was shocking.
yeah, I was shocked for sure, but it was dope though. Like, that was dope.
That's what's up. And it's crazy because before I seen that on Instagram, me and my friend was just having a conversation about like gender roles and people proposing, because women was on their knee proposing to these men. We're not doing that. I'm talking to y'all. We're not doing that. Okay.
Well, she didn't get on her knee though.
I know, but we're not talking about y'all. Y'all ladies proposing to these men, get up. Okay? We're not doing that. But
What's wrong with it?
because we just
Talk
not
to
doing
me.
that. I think it's different. And y'all proved my point, okay? She didn't think my point was proven, but my point was proven with y'all. Okay, so let me tell you. It's different in that heterosexual relationship, because men feel like they don't have to have no responsibilities. Okay? They feel like they
Okay.
don't have no responsibilities. They can do whatever they want to. And also, they feel like, at least from what I've seen, that they're being trapped into a marriage when they are being proposed to. So get up.
My my only thing with that is when you propose, I feel like you gotta know y'all on the same page. Like
Exactly.
y'all gotta have like, I wouldn't do it if you was like, I don't know if they gonna say yes. But if a man and a woman was like, because what if it was like a situation like ours, like he planning it, and she like, we both wanna get married, and she just do it first, you know?
Yeah.
Like you
I've
supposed to
seen
your
it work.
man.
I've seen it work, but I haven't seen it work a lot. Get up.
Yeah, yeah. I've
I'm
never
not
seen
playing
it
with that. Y'all
personally.
better get up. I'm not
I've
proposing
seen
to
it
no.
on TV, but I've never seen it like
I'm not
in
proposing
real
to no
life.
man. I'm a princess anyway. I'm not proposing to no man. But we were talking about it, and then she was like, "Well, what do you think about gay relationships?" And I was like, "They gonna have to duke that out because who to say who was which and which is doing what? Like that don't. When it comes down to it, that don't." And I think it's a societal thing. And I don't think it's a gender thing. I think it's a societal thing because when you look at marriage, especially around heterosexual marriages, the man feels like and have been conditioned to lead. So a lot of men feel emasculated when they get proposed to. And a lot of times, which I've seen, it causes a rift in the relationship because it's like I'm supposed to be doing this, like you're taking this away from me, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's social conditioning, and it's also my conditioning too. I don't want to be the man, so I'm not doing it. But I think like in other relationships that's not really a thing. It's more on energy, which how it's supposed to be, but like masculine and feminine energy, whatever. There's always one that's around the both. But like when it comes to marriage with gay couples, I don't see that being a societal thing. Like I've never seen it, so I didn't think like whoever proposed to who is whatever, and then y'all got married. I mean, got proposed to, and I was like, boom, my point was made. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We Yeah, we actually had two proposals. So she proposed first, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna follow through with mine. She had no idea, but everybody else was, you know, had their foot in the door. So I just felt like kind of like what you saying, like what a man would think. I kind of just felt like I want her to experience that too. Every woman wants to experience getting proposed to. So I see why you feel like how you feel. So I just, I felt like I had to do it too, even though she had already did it. But so we had two proposals, and we're gonna have kind of two weddings too. So
That's beautiful. Y'all wedding was beautiful too, by the way.
Thank you.
So, what are some expectations that you guys have for each other now that you're married?
My biggest expectation is just communication and just making sure like you're hearing your partner out, especially like in the time of need. What
oh,
about
it's
you?
on me. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I was reading the comments. Um, Expectations? No, I feel like she's like I I feel like she met all of that before we were even official. I have like a set of, I don't want to say like rules because that sounds really bad when you say it out loud, but like everybody has like their
Standard?
boundaries. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say boundaries. I like that word, boundaries. Everybody has their boundaries
No, your
that
rules.
their boundaries
You're a set of standards.
that they have. So I made sure like all that was met before I even decided to like get in a relationship with her. So as far as like now that we're married, um, let me not lie. I would say do more wife stuff, you know, if
What
that
is
makes
wife
sense.
stuff?
Like she works at home, right? And I go in the office most of the time. So, like we're both wives. I can cook, she can cook. So sometimes I want to come home to a home cooked meal, a shower, you know, stuff like I want to be taken care of. So that's what I mean when I say wife stuff, like, clean the house, cook, stuff like that.
But what difference does it make if, like, I know I work at home, but, like, I'm going to rebuttal you on this because at the end of the day, I'm still working 8 hours. You're still working 8 hours. Sometimes you go to work and I'm at home all day long. So why you can't come home and cook me dinner when you get off? Why do you expect me, because I'm at home, to just cook you dinner? Like,
You already at home. You get the head start. I'm
That's
at
kind of
work.
true.
I'm on my feet. I'm doing shit. Like,
how do you know the job that I'm not doing is actually
because I know
mentally
what you do.
draining?
My job,
Like, what's the
all
difference?
jobs, all jobs are mentally draining. Unless you're
Are they?
doing something unless you like pursue a hobby, like if you're not doing something you love, that shit is gonna drain you.
It's all draining. But I think what I hear you saying is that
Cook my dinner.
you want your dinner, but
What
you
the
want to
city?
be catered to and cared for. I think you need to there should be some compromise there because
Look, I
you
cook
both work.
better. I honestly cook better. So,
Okay.
I clean, but I feel like if I'm going to office and I'm like dealing with people and I'm on my feet and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, sometimes I want to come home to a cooked meal and a clean house and a shower, which she does. So I don't even know why she in here capping. Like,
I just asked the question, like, what's the difference if I work at home or if I work in the office? Like,
I
why?
mean, if I worked at home and you worked in the office, I'm pretty sure dinner will be cooked.
Well,
But I
I
think
mean,
that
this
goes back
depends.
to like love languages. Maybe that's not her very first thought. Not that it's not a thought, because obviously you said that she already do it, so we're not debating that. But like it goes back to love languages when you are, in a relationship, and that's any kind of relationship, and you're thinking about the other person. You're usually thinking from your sense of what your love language is. You know what I'm saying? So she may be doing other things and feel like she still has met her wifely duties, if that's a thing, if we want to call it that. But like you want something a little bit different. So I think now that we have this established, that you would just like a little bit more, give her grace, and maybe once or twice more she could do it. But I think it just, when it comes down to it, that sounds more like a love language thing. Like it may
I
not
like
be
that.
her first mind, and you guys are freshly in a marriage, so like it may not be her first mind to do that, but you've communicated it. And I think where was the question at? There was a
I
good
was just gonna say
question.
we can answer some of these questions in the comments too. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, there's so many people hopping on, I can't find it. So
I see
Brittany
one of them
asked,
that said, okay,
is
go ahead, go ahead.
marriage a contract or something that's we're supposed to do?
I don't think marriage is for everybody. I think it's all in what you make it. Like me, I believe in God, so I believe like marriage is a contract before God, like that we are joining together as one. And like as far as that, if you want to think of it like that as a contract, yes, before God. But to me and her, like no, I don't really look at it as like we signing this paper in, you know, Cause to be honest, like it's really just I feel like we've been married already. You know, it's really just honestly a piece of paper and a name change if you decide to do that. But you know,
Someone said, I don't believe in marriage because you can still fuck around. I mean, it's true, but why get married? Why even decide to go that
yeah.
route if you still gonna fuck around?
Well, that's probably why they don't believe in marriage.
Yeah, and I
Cause
miss
they
that.
gonna
I don't
they
feel
gonna
like
fuck
I feel
around.
like it really takes that right person to actually change you for
Yeah,
the
100%.
better, because you can run into someone just like you doing the same reckless things you're doing, but when you actually meet that right person that drives you to actually do better, motivate you better and motivate you more, and like loves you differently than people have in the past, it's all going to start clicking and falling in place for you. And then you're going to consider marriage. But if you're so used to doing people dirty and getting your karma back, it's not.
Yeah,
That's why you don't believe in marriage.
yeah, and I also think it's like we talked about earlier. It's the place that you're in. Like if you ain't in the place to be open and receive that, you gonna get exactly what you think or you expect to get. Honestly, that's the way energy works. And if not, then you're going to get somebody who you actually deserve that you don't feel like you deserve, and you're still going to mess that relationship up. So you have to be in a place where you're open and willing to receive the relationship that you actually
Mhm.
want.
Mhm.
But back to like, is marriage a contract? Technically, it's a contract, both before God and in the court of law. And that's another reason why you need to pick the right person, because you are actually in a binding legal contract with that person. It's the same thing, the same kind of contract that you are in with a job or a business or something else. It's the same thing, and that is why that person gets half. So you need to make sure that the person that you are with and the business that you guys are doing, whatever that business of your relationship looks like, is exactly what you want to get into. Because, yeah.
That's true. But I don't look at it as like a contract. I feel look at it like this is the person I'm sharing my life and my love with. And I'm
Life.
pouring
That's
into this person.
that's beautiful, but it's wrong. And it really is, and it's a very new concept, right? Because we are Americans, and we are a new generation of Americans, and we're the only people that get married based off love.
But that's then somebody just said I live in California and I own my property. I ain't giving half to nobody. But if you
Prenup.
already had that prior to
Yeah.
meeting somebody, just sign a prenup.
Yeah,
Get a prenup.
you need a prenup. Like I've been watching these. I follow a couple lawyers because I need law advice for my business. But like they do like marital law and stuff like that, and they talk about it. And like even that, like people get divorced and they fight down to pillows. Like I was reading the comments of like 10 people talking about they're in a divorce right now and their husband trying to take their pillows. Like it is an actual business contract, and that is why like with other countries, like their families are very strategic about who they marry and why they marry and why they family are getting together, because you have to know all of that, because one person can mess up your whole entire empire, you know what I'm saying? So like we're the only people that actually marry for love, quote unquote, and not quote unquote, like y'all here loving each other, but like when you actually doing the business of marriage, which is your legal binding contract, you actually have to sit and think about those things. Like, what is this business that I'm doing? What do I want? What are we getting out of this? What are we building? All of those things have to come into place when you're thinking about marriage, or y'all could just, you know, do a civil union.
So let's let's do like a scenario. Like, what do you say? Because a lot of people get offended by prenups, right? So because it's kind of like, to me, it sounds like you preparing for the marriage to fail in the beginning of before you even start the marriage is what a prenup sounds like to me. Like if I would have, but I get it. It's like a safety net, you know. Like if this doesn't work, like I want all my shit that I came with.
Right, but it's not even just if this doesn't work. Like, if something were to happen to you, like, there's all these different scenarios that goes into like a prenup. That's like, how are you going to deal out with your affairs? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like preparing to split, but like, if this grows into something bigger, like, what does our union actually look like? Because a lot of times we're getting together and it's like, I'm building, they're building. This is how we out here. That's what we're doing. I'm building, you're building, or we're building together. And then what if that business ends up needing to be dissolved? What if, all these different things, and y'all have a different point of view, and you can't get anything solved? So it's like, it's your resolution point, basically. Like, how are we going to dissolve these issues in our relationship? And I learned that from like my CEO. He used to talk to me about that, because he was telling me, like, that's how he goes into business. He was like, I treat every business, because he's a venture capitalist and he's an investor. He's like, I treat every business that I go into like a marriage. I want to know, like, are our views the same? How do we plan on moving forward? What are we growing into? What do our partnerships look like? What do our habits, like, do we mesh? Like, all of those things come into consideration, because once or if this needs to be dissolved, how are we going to end up doing it amicably?
Yeah.
And divorces are crazy and messy, and people lose sight of that first love. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's, if anything were to happen, this is how we are protecting each other and ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I didn't believe in prenups before, but as I'm growing to understand and learn more about, like, life and what these things actually mean and stuff like that, like, it's making a lot more sense. So I have one.
Well, we didn't sign a prenup, so
I mean, who's to say that you're going to need one? And not that
We
you
ain't.
guys won't be growing, but I pray that you both grow healthily and into a beautiful, long-lasting marriage.
thank you.
So before we leave, I want to know, like, what is one couple goal that you both have, and what is one personal goal that you both have?
I would say, well, for me, like a personal goal would be to just continue to pour into myself and, you know, find my path within my career and just living like a healthy life. Not trying to get like mentally drained and pulled back down into depression. So that's my own personal goal. But as far as like a relationship goal, I definitely want to start a family, like as soon as possible.
My personal goals, I think I pretty much already uh set the foundation for my career, so I feel like that's already where it needs to be. But physical and mental health is like my personal goal. And yeah, same thing for relationship. I'm ready for some kids. I'm ready for a house.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That
Yeah, it's gonna be some mini Gwees around this thing.
Lord help us all. I love that. I love that for you guys. I am so excited and happy for your union. And like I said before, I pray for you guys to have a healthy and happy and loving relationship. Continue to learn each other. Continue to learn yourselves. Continue to learn yourselves outside of each other. And work towards continuous understanding. Before we go, can you guys leave us off with some words of encouragement?
Be you.
I would just say, like, don't give up. Like, if you're looking to, like, achieve something, like, just grind. If you're looking to find love and you're, like, in a shitty situation, like, don't give up. You know, just go with the flow, and that person's gonna magically appear. If you're manifesting it, like, that person's gonna be there before you know it.
I'ma just say, be you. Yeah. don't let nobody shame you into out of your boundaries and your what did you call them, standards and all that stuff. Like, let everybody know what you want, what you need. Don't take no exceptions.
Absolutely. I love that. And thank you both for coming on with me to have this conversation. It was wonderful. Thank you for being open and vulnerable and sharing space with me and us. I will talk to you guys later. I am very excited. Anybody else? Please follow me, follow them. Let them know where to find y'all both at and what y'all doing so we can support.
Oh yeah, you can follow me at Gwee by the Dollar. I also have a podcast, Contradiction of Thoughts. It's on YouTube. There's a couple videos up already, and we're actually starting a couples YouTube. We haven't made the YouTube yet, but we got like tons of ideas for videos and stuff like that. So it's gonna be some content coming soon. But yeah, Gwee by the Dollar.
And my Instagram name is xo.nikkee. That's Nikkee. Follow me.
Yes, and I am Precious. This Instagram is a pocket of sunshine, APKT of sunshine. Y'all follow me. Go ahead, check the links in my bio. Grab my ebook. It will be officially out this weekend. Everything about self-care, because I love me some self-care, boundaries, how to set boundaries with yourself, how to create self-care with your kids, how to create self-care with yourself, how to create self-care in your work. There's a lot of information in there. So y'all go ahead and go cop that, okay? Because we need it. The community is going through a lot and everybody needs a little bit of care right now. So I had to drop that for y'all. So yes, please check it out. Also check out my website. I have a lot of things going on for the women who are incarcerated. I have body products. I have aromatherapy products. I also have pain management products. And I am open for speaking engagements. So y'all gonna check us all out. And I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.